Hello and welcome to this little tutorial on how to navigate this course within Brightspace. My name is Dr. Mark Cavanaugh and I'm the chair of the Department of Social Sciences and Psychology here at KVCC, and I'm the one responsible for the creation of all of the Brightspace courses within my department. So this includes psychology, sociology, anthropology, and some other courses as well. My approach to that is to have these courses designed all in a very, very similar way so that I can produce a small video like this to help you as a student who might be new to taking courses in Brightspace or new to taking courses in my department about how I actually approach delivering material for the courses in my department. So let's take a look at Brightspace. Once you've logged into Brightspace, you're going to see all the courses that you have signed up for that utilize Brightspace, which is a vast majority of the classes at KVCC. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm actually going to use a master template class that I've created for the Introduction to Psychology class. If I click on that, it brings me to the entry page, and you will see some differences here because your instructor information will be here. I may not be your instructor, and there might be some announcements that are here, but this is how you would come into the class and you would see the announcements for the day appear there, and you'd see some information about your instructor there. Now, even if you've taken classes from me before, I've made this particular set of courses very, very simple to navigate in terms of finding information on Brightspace. So there's really only a couple places that you need to be aware of to click on to get everything you need to be successful in this class. So once you enter into the class and you see this information here, look up to on the top here, it says Content. You click Content, and the first time you enter in, it will bring you to this link right here, the Overview and Syllabus. Now this document here contains a wealth of information that you're going to need, again, to be successful in this class. So this starts off with basic course information. It'll list the course, in this case, Psych 101, the start date, the end date, the delivery modality, whether it's online, hybrid, or face-to-face, and any meeting days or times associated with this class. If it's an online class, it'll only meet online. Then, of course, here's that little video that you're looking at right now. And the next line down here, very important about the way that I actually deliver material in my classes. Most online classes deliver the actual content by writing the content right into Brightspace. So you open up Brightspace, you go to a folder, and you can see the material that the instructor wants you to read. In all of my classes, what I've done is I've created a digital book that contains all of the lessons, all of the instructions, all of the lectures and videos, descriptions of all the assignments, descriptions of all the online discussions, and descriptions of all the quizzes. It's a digital book that you download to your computer, and you use that as a reference to get into the class or to get the material in the class. In this particular class, we have the course book. That's the document I was just talking about. And it's written by me. And there's the one for this coming semester. And you have a few options. You can download a PDF to read on any device. You can go to Apple Books and purchase a digital version for you to look at on your Mac or on your iOS device. Or you can go to Amazon and buy a print version of it. Now the PDF is free. The Apple Books version is about $5, and the Amazon print one is about $30. Now the difference between the PDF and the Apple Books one is interactivity. When you're looking at the Apple Books one, and you come to a video, you can actually play the video inside of the book. You just press play and the video plays right in your iPad without going anywhere. The PDF version has a link and you can go and see the video. As we'll see when we take a look at the course book, if you get a print version, obviously you can't click on those things. The print versions have small QR codes that you can scan with your phone and go to those same interactive elements. So it all depends on how you want to interact with the material. For many courses, in addition to a course book, there is also a traditional textbook. In this case, I use Psychology, 2nd edition from OpenStax. And you click there to get access to that. You'll see here that I put text in here that says print versions of the course book and print versions of the textbooks are available through the KVCC campus store. That will be effective in the fall of 2022. So if you were going to download the PDF of your course book and get the PDF of the OpenStax textbook, here's what they would look like. I've already downloaded them here. So here's the course book. The best way to get this is to download it right to your computer and load it into your PDF viewer. That's preview for here. And you'll notice that this is the summer 2022 edition of Introduction to Psychology, written by me, and you see the index over here. If I click on any of these, it's going to bring me to that chapter. So if I'm in the learning chapter, I click there and it brings me right to the learning chapter. You'll also see if I click the little arrow next to it, there are 4 sections in each chapter, and they're all the same. So there's attention, learning outcomes, teaching, and assessment. So for chapter 1, I go to the attention section, and it's a little thing about grabbing your attention and getting you excited about chapter 1. You can see here's a video. If this was in iBooks, I would just press this video to play. If it's in a PDF, I can click right there. I can actually click the movie too, and it will bring me to that movie. And here's that little QR code on the print version. Scan that with your phone, and it will bring you to this link. You can then look at learning outcomes. This is what I'm expecting you to learn in this chapter. And then the teaching component here, this is my lecture, everything I want to tell you about. There's links in here, images, might be additional movies, links to articles, pictures of famous psychologists here. Go through, this is the material I want you to learn. And then we get to this final part here, the assessment, and this is the description of the assignments for this particular chapter. And there are 3. There's a chapter 1 discussion on careers in psychology. There's a chapter 1 quiz about the 4 goals of psychology. And then there's an assignment here developing actually creating a resume and cover letter as if you were a famous psychologist applying for a job to teach for me. So that's where you get the descriptions of the actual assignments in the class. And I will get to that in just a second too. In addition to the course book, we also have the textbook. And that is similarly laid out, and it's actually all the chapters in this textbook align perfectly with the chapters in the course book. The textbook gives you a lot more information, much more broad. You can see that there's different kinds of subcategories here about what is psychology, the history of psychology, contemporary psychology, careers in psychology. This is additional information to the course book to get much more in-depth and much more broad exposure to the material. The way you want to approach this class, in many of the classes there's a textbook and a course book. I would recommend that when you're going to do chapter 1, you read the textbook, chapter 1. Then you read the course book, chapter 1. Now you're ready. You get to the end of chapter 1 and you see those assignments, be them a quiz or an assignment, and also for the online classes, the discussions. Now, because these course books are generic, if you're taking this class face-to-face, you don't have to worry about those online discussions. That's simply for the online class. Aside from that, you look at these quizzes and assignments that are in that course book, and then you're ready to then go back into Brightspace to submit your work. And I'll get to that in just a second. Let's get through the rest of this page here. There's instructor information specific to the instructor for the class, and contact information and ways to get in touch with that person. Student resources here, and then my email, and actually click that. Don't need that. That will automatically send an email, as you just saw. There's also an email link to the academic dean. That's my boss. And then a copy of the syllabus here. This goes over all the expectations of the class. Make sure that you read all of this, download it and print it. Goes into all the grading, all the different nuances of the class, everything. Now, my example here, you've downloaded the PDF. You've downloaded the PDF for both the course book and the textbook. You've read chapter 1 and you're ready to go. That brings us to our other document here, and that is the course timeline. Click on the course timeline, and what you get is an introduction to what the timeline is, activities that you should engage in before you do the class, before you start the class. We'll get to that. And then you get a week-by-week breakdown. Week 1, we're going to be to chapter 1 and chapter 2. And here's a little link. Here's a cue to look at the special assignments. Then in week 2, we're going to look at chapter 3. And these blue links right here are to access the quiz, the discussion, and the assignment. So if I am ready to take chapter 1 quiz because I've read the course book and I've read and prepared the answers for chapter 1 quiz, I click on chapter 1 quiz, and it brings me to the opportunity to take the quiz. Hit the back button. If I'm ready to do the discussion, click on that, and it brings me to the discussion. It repeats the actual text of the discussion there. And if I clicked on assignments, it brings me to the assignment Dropbox where I would upload a document. So that is how there's an integration between the textbook, the course book, and then Brightspace. So you read the textbook, read the course book, prepare your answers and everything as best you can, and then go into Brightspace, into the course timeline, click on the appropriate link, and submit your work there. Now, a couple things to cover before we move on is in this area right here, prior to the start of the class, obviously I ask you to watch this video, access the course book and textbook, explore this document and the timeline and everything in here. And then there are 2 discussions, Course Lounge and Course Questions. These are open all semester where you can participate in off-topic conversations here and ask questions about the class here. Now, in the Course Lounge, during the first few days of the class, I'm actually asking you to introduce yourself into the Course Lounge. An optional thing to do is to take this quiz right here. This student intake form gives you the opportunity to tell your instructor a little bit about yourself, a little bit how you learn, what your concerns are and what your strengths are as you're coming into this class, and that the instructor can use that however they wish to approach you to assist you in being successful. Let me go back to the overview and syllabus here, and I want to open up the course book again. So here we are in the course book. We're in chapter 1, chapter 2, actually. Now, in addition to the regular chapters that are spread out and described in the timeline, there's a set of what I call special assignments. Now, these special assignments are due through the semester, but they're not just necessarily aligned within the flow of the class, so that you have a little bit more time. These are larger, more project-based assignments that have to do with this course. And in this particular course, there are 3 of them. There's a correlation assignment, where you're going to calculate the relationship between 2 variables. There's a personal change, where you're going to apply the principles of operant conditioning to change a habit or create a habit. And then there's the major project, an information literacy paper, very similar to what you might know as a research paper. So that's going to be the special assignments for this particular class. Now, in the course timeline, you will see at time, like say right here, the correlation special assignment is due. If you click on that, it will bring you to the Dropbox to put that assignment in. And the information literacy paper proposal is due. That's a quiz telling your instructor the topic of your paper. Now, each one of these things, when you look at this timeline, you're just seeing the links, but what they refer to are very in-depth and precise instructions that you find in the course book. So when you're looking just at Brightspace, you're not seeing a lot of information. Just remember that all of those blue links in there, everything about the course is in that document that you got called the course book. Now, you make your way through this in accordance to the timeline. This is the summer session that I have this set up for, so there's only 12 weeks in this particular semester. In other semesters, you'd see this extended over a longer period of time. And each one of these links brings you to the appropriate graded activity associated with this class. And that is how I utilize Brightspace in all of my department's classes. You will have to keep a really keen eye on these classes if you're taking more than one social sciences class, because they look exactly the same and it's a little difficult to remember where you are. So make sure that you're in the right place, submitting the right assignment to the right Dropbox, because they're all named in similar ways, chapter 1, chapter 3, everything. And so make sure that you keep in mind where you are and you know where you are. I hope this has been helpful so that you can understand and just cruise right into here. Remember, all classes have a course book. Many classes have a textbook. Should mention that sometimes there is no textbook. Sometimes it's just the course book. But if there is a textbook, if you're going to get the most out of the class, it's important that you read that textbook as well as reading the material in the course book. So enjoy this class. Enjoy whoever's teaching it. Might be me, might be one of my staff. And have a great semester.